Hello everybody and welcome to a special one-off edition of the Human Echoes recap. I wanted to talk about a movie today, and I used to do a lot more movie reviews, but that space is super crowded and it wasn't worth my time to cover movies that 8,000 other people were covering. But a movie came out earlier this week that I wanted to talk to y'all about, and I looked around and there aren't a lot of other people talking about it yet. And there probably won't be, because it's a very small release, but it's very important to me. We're going to be talking about the movie adaptation of Aliens Ate My Homework. And the reason this is important to me is because as a child, as a 10, 11, 12-year-old, Aliens Ate My Homework, I Left My Sneakers in Dimension X, Search for Snout, Aliens Stole My Body, that series during that point in my life was incredibly important to me. Those are books that I will remember until I'm 80. And they're great books. They're great books for kids or for adults. There's some amazing sci-fi concepts in there. And so when I heard they were adapting this into a movie, and honestly, I didn't get any advance lead time. I looked at the Redbox app on my phone saying, hey, what's out this weekend? What can I go watch? And Aliens Ate My Homework is in the Redbox. Now, the fact that I haven't heard about this wasn't a great sign, because it's direct to DVD. It didn't ever make it to theaters. I watched the trailer and I was a little bit iffy about it, but like 12-year-old me who didn't get to watch television and who loved those books to death would have killed me if I didn't go watch this movie. So I went and I got the DVD and I brought it home, and me and my 5-year-old watched the movie adaptation of Aliens Ate My Homework. And I am here to report that it's okay. From the perspective of someone who is looking for an adaptation of the book, it's okay. Now, here are the negatives. We'll start with this. Negative number one is the acting. Now, you've got a lot of child actors, and you're dealing with a low-budget movie, so you can't afford, like, Jacob Tremblay, all right? So you're dealing with the lower tier of the actors that aren't that great anyway. You've got a little bit of cringy stuff, and they're aiming at that kid tone a little bit. It feels very much like a movie that would have come out during the 80s for kids as an adaptation of this book. And if you judge it on that scale, it's actually pretty good. The other thing is, this is a split between negative and positive, is the special effects. They're not high tech, which is kind of a good thing in some places, but some places I feel like they've used green screens to just, like, obviously the plot of the movie is that we have miniaturized aliens who have come into this boy's house, and they're searching for an intergalactic criminal, and he has to help them out because they've broken the embiggener thing on their spaceship. And some of the miniaturization stuff is excellent, and some of it is just a person on a green screen sort of, I mean, it's not great. It's not, some of that stuff is real bad. But, and let's flip to the positives here. Where those effects work is in the sort of the way that they're very real. All the aliens are masks, okay, or makeup effects. All these people are wearing actual prosthetics through the whole thing. So Madam Pong, Gracker, Tar Gibbons, Phil the Plant. Oh, I forgot there's a negative for Phil the Plant, but we'll get to that. These are all things that people have made in real space. It's not a computer. There's no digital effects anywhere. It's just folks in costumes acting. And they're pretty good. I mean, Tar Gibbons, you can't get his, like, weird setup, right? Because he's a person in a suit, so you can't get those back legs. They're not going to do, like, the four-person horse thing. But he looks okay, and he acts like Tar Gibbons. And that's another very important, to me, aspect of this movie. As an adaptation, these were very recognizable as the characters that I loved growing up. All right, especially Madam Pong. I wish she'd had more time in the movie, but she just, like, felt like she stepped off the page. She was tough. She was really smart. She had like a lot of diplomacy. I mean, she is the diplomat of the mission. So to see someone like using diplomacy as a weapon, that was cool. And the way that she finesses between Gracker and what his craziness is. And it's a great inversion in the book and in the movie as well, where you have Gracker come out and he's got the gun and he's like, and he's like sort of the stereotypical military in charge dude. And then Madame Pong comes out and she's just like, let's just change that, and like puts in a different personality module. And you get the sense like, oh, wait a minute, she's kind of in charge too, or at least like equal level with him. So those things were fun. Phil the Plant, though, going back to him, is not great. He's played by William Shatner, who's the only recognizable name in the cast. I assume that they just had William Shatner record the voice lines and then moved Phil the Plant's puppet around. Like, William Shatner probably never even made it to set. I don't know that. I'm not trying to cast aspersions on William Shatner. It's not his fault the character's terrible. I'm just saying that's my idea of how they did this. The problem is, Phil the Plant is a walking pun machine. He's just non-stop puns. And maybe he's that way in the book. I don't have a strong memory of Phil the Plant from the book, but my goodness, were those puns annoying by the hour-and-a-half mark. I was so glad this was not a longer movie. I wanted Phil the Plant to shut up so bad. The climax of the book has changed a little bit too. They cut out the Tar Gibbons, who's tiny, versus regular size BKR fight for obvious special effects reasons. But overall, if you're looking for that nostalgia hit, if you're like me and you read the book, Aliens Ain't My Homework, and you think, I want to see it on the screen, if you have kids, I would say it's worth it to watch. If you don't, if you're just going to sit in your apartment and watch it by yourself, that's a coin toss, okay? It's not amazing. The tone is a little bit wacky, which is understandable to a point, but it never quite coalesces the way I was hoping it would. But watching it with my son and having memories of myself as I read this book way back when I was, well, not at his age because he's 5 and he's learning to read, but not this stuff yet. That was my strange thing that happened to Alan Brewster era. That was my defining moment when I was 5 and 6. Great book as well. But watching it with him, it really brought back those memories, and it's a decent adaptation. You can tell that it's made by people who have love for the source material and love for the time of the source material. They really go all out for that 80s aesthetic. They have a physical spaceship that not only is there for the tiny bits, but like when it's flying around, like you can see it's stuff that's all glued together and like flashlight parts for the engines, and to me that's cool. Like, I've seen plenty of terrible CG spaceships. To know that someone actually sat down and glued this spaceship together is great. To see the sort of prosthetic work on Tar Gibbons and Gracker and like the various aliens, that was neat. There's a lot there if you're looking for the experience of the book. You just want to relive a little bit of that, or if you're looking for a movie for your kids to watch, because my kid really got into this, and there were some moments that were pretty scary for him, particularly the Billy Becker's parents are not what you thought they were moment from the book. When that happened, AJ just like left the room, could not handle it, and I could see why. But on the whole, I'm going to tip, it's a teeter-totter, but I'm going to tip in favor of recommending this movie. It's not great, but it's adapted from a great book. They had a lot of respect for the story too, and I even like specific memorable lines from the story, like Tar Gibbons, the mystic explaining what the word tar means. It's an honorific that means master of the martial sciences that could kill you with his little finger should he so desire. That makes it into the movie. A lot of those great moments that you remember are there. millions have wept, and the thing about it's all in there if you have a memory of the book, and if you don't, and you have kids, it's still probably worth watching. Younger kids. So that's my review of Aliens Ate My Homework. I hope that they make more. I really do. Just because I want to see I Left My Sneakers in Dimension X. I don't know how they're going to do it on the budget that they have. But I loved what they did do with their budget. The fact that it was all, again, old school practical effects was a lot of fun and really made me realize how much I've missed that in movies. It's great what they can do with computers and stuff these days, but I watch a lot of movies with cheap special effects as well, and I think that I would love to see a little bit more cheap physical effects too. So yeah, recommended, but just a little bit. Hope you guys like this. I don't do these very often, but sometimes there's a need. A little space where I can slide in and say, you know what, Albert has something to say here, and not a lot of people are saying it, so I'll just put myself out there. Good movie, great book. Aliens Ate My Homework. You guys take care. See you later.